Hello and welcome to your all signs reading for what you need to know right now. Joining me today again is my good friend Chris Reck from Tarot. Hey Chris, how's it going?
It's going. How are you?
It's going great, but I tell you what,
Good.
this energy has been interesting. We had a really fun time last month talking about what you need to know this time next year. And I'm telling you, I think we need to just keep updating that. I don't know what's it been like for you for the past month.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been good. Lazy. I've been very lazy, I feel. But, still like trying to get things done.
Yeah, it's kind of like a slow grind, right? It's like
Yeah.
you have to be in the mood, but then when you are in the flow, it feels good. That's kind of what I've been feeling.
Yeah.
Just like I have to be in the right flow, and then I am productive. But it's still a little harder. I mean, and we have a lot of planets retrograde right now, so.
Yeah.
That's kind of normal. But this reading is going to be for all signs for what you need to know right now whenever you come across it. Because we thought that was just a great way to just update whatever you're thinking about. We had so much fun last month. A lot of you commented that you went back to last year in 2024 where we talked about what you need to know next year. And you were like, wow, that came to fruition, or that happened for me. So definitely grab your journal, write down anything that resonates with you as you're listening to these, because I'm telling you, it's funny how we come together as a collective and the messages come through that are meant for whoever's here listening. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. And I just kind of wanted to go over a little bit of what I've been seeing energetically. I did my 2026 messages a couple weeks ago, and I've been seeing some big themes coming in. So what about you? Are you seeing any main themes that you're seeing coming up for 2026?
Well, I haven't done 2026 yet, but I'm about to do 2026. So
Okay.
yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, last year I said that this year didn't start till June. I feel like next year doesn't start till like March. And
Okay.
I didn't even realize that also, Jupiter goes direct in March. So
Yes.
I've been saying that next year starts in March mostly because Saturn and Neptune being back in Aries at that time, but also Jupiter, which I thought was interesting. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, then this is your cue, everybody. Make sure, if you're not already, to sign up for Tarot. Subscribe to his channel. He also has chrisreck.com because he's going to be coming out with those readings soon. But also, Chris, I listen to all your signs. Like, I just let them play. I'm, getting stuff done around the house. I'm doing errands or whatever. And I always find that the messages that are meant to resonate with me do. And I could be listening to a sign that I don't even have any planets in, and I'll have that aha moment. So I feel like you're one of the ones that's able to read intuitively, and really what's always struck me is how the people who are meant to hear your messages, they find you and you find them. So thank you for always sharing that with you. I know you're always like churning out so much content for all of us, but but we appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. It is weird. I have 0 Libra on my chart, but like people always ask me, do you resonate with your own readings? I'm like, no, actually, no. But I always like something always comes up for Libra where I'm like, damn, I'm doing that right now.
Yes. That's funny. That's me for Aquarius. I don't have any planets
Yeah.
in Aquarius, but the same thing happens. So yeah, it's just interesting to see what comes through. And at the time we're recording this, now this is kind of meant to be evergreen messages whenever this video finds you, but we are about to have Jupiter go retrograde. So can you talk a little bit about what you say with Jupiter retrograde for everybody?
Yeah, I think Jupiter retrograde is always positive. I mean, I think Jupiter's always positive no matter what for the most part. But, this retrograde, being in Cancer, I think it is a good one for like revisiting your process is what I would say. So, it's like I look at it like a spider, even though it's a crab. It's a Cancer, but it's like spiders weave a web, so they have a process to catch their bugs, and so I think that's what people should think about during this retrograde, especially with other stuff that's going on as well. Even Saturn retrograde, we're revisiting structure. So, it's like when you think about it, web is a structure, and that's really what I would be thinking about the most.
Yeah, I agree. And then we talked about this last time too, but we are wrapping up a 9-year in numerology with 2025 moving into a 1 year. So anything coming up for you around that?
Yeah, and not only that, it's the year of the horse. So it's like the total opposite of the snake. It's, the snake is like slow because it's shedding its skin until the end of the Chinese New Year. And so it's like a very slow process. And then the horse is like speed, freedom, momentum, taking off, and it's
Yes.
and it's a 1 year, which I think is like a little bit extra lucky for everyone because it's like a start and a start.
Yes. Yes. And not to mention, we have Saturn and Neptune conjunct in Aries sometime in February.
Yeah.
So that's a really forceful, again, the first house of the zodiac, Aries, in a 1 year. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. The synchronicities are everywhere.
We have 10 conjunctions in January.
Wow.
So, which I looked at the last time this happened. I couldn't find a time where we've had 10 conjunctions in 1 month. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I think January is going to be like a rocket,
Yeah, I agree with you. And I would like to invite everybody. I am, as a holiday gift to everybody, offering a free webinar on numerology coming up on Thursday, November 20th. I'm going to put the link below. It won't be on YouTube. All you have to do is sign up with your email and you'll get the link for free. Even if you can't join live, you can watch the replay because I want to talk about this numerology, Chris. I went back to 1970 and I looked at every time we wrapped up a 9 year and started a 1, and I looked at the global themes, and you wouldn't believe the repetition and the things that were happening. And I mean, I'm hoping to go back further between now and the webinar, but if you're interested in learning about your personal year or the numerology that's coming, please join me on that because this is something new I'm doing for my community, but this one's a free one because I want everyone to kind of trust in that cycle too. Like you said, Chris, I mean, this new start, I heard, it really resonated with me about what you said about the horse, freedom, breaking free, getting out of the old ways of doing things. We've got Pluto and Aquarius doing that too. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link below. It's a free webinar on numerology. And also don't forget to check out chrisreck.com with all of his amazing content. And of course, subscribe to Menopon Tarot. Chris, you're getting so close to 1 million. I want to be staying up late watching it. The numbers go across when you get there. Yeah, we should do a live. Watch it go.
We should.
Across. So yeah, that would be super fun.
That's a good idea.
Well, but yeah, so I'm feeling good about the start of 2026, but I feel like the messages we're going to go through now might hopefully help everybody get a little clarity on why things haven't really gotten going this year. When you're wrapping up a cycle, it's tying up loose ends. So even now at the time we're recording this, it's a Mercury retrograde pretty much all of November, right? And so why not just use this time to wrap up cycles, end phases, and allow things, this past full moon we had last week, it was the full moon in Taurus. It was really about understanding the things you don't want to take with you into 2026. So you still have time to do that. And I think one of the best ways, I don't know, do you have any kind of like end of year rituals that you do when you're moving into the next year, Chris, like as far as goal setting or like reflecting on the past year?
No. I don't do anything. I've had one New Year's resolution, which I've stuck to, which is I quit drinking like years ago. I was only going to do it for a year, and I just haven't drunk since. So for whatever reason. So yeah, that's like the only thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. That's a healthy one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is to kind of try to write down at least 10 things that I feel like I shifted or accomplished, even if they're little things like I make my bed right away instead of waiting an hour to make my bed when I get up in the morning or something like that, But what I have found is you do realize the things that you also said no to. Because a lot of people are like, well, I don't know what I want to do for the new year. I don't know what I want my new intention to be or whatever. Well, sometimes you need to start with the things you don't want. And then you get clear on, okay, well, then my intention is to let this go, to move away from this organization, to start planning for my retirement, start planning for a job change, whatever. Sometimes it's going through, back to the beginning of the year and doing that. So that's kind of one of my things that I like to do is just try to write down at least 10 things that I feel like I shifted. It doesn't have to be like, ring the bell, I succeeded this huge goal. It's just more like this was something that I'm glad I don't have to deal with anymore, or that has finally moved forward out of that phase, so that when you go into the new year, like I'm going to protect that. And I feel like that's what is going to be really helpful with going into a 1 year, the horse year, all these conjunctions you're talking about. It's like, it's kind of a good thing we're getting this slowdown in energy right now. It's like, go ahead and use this time to rest, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I was talking to my accountant because I haven't done anything this year, basically, compared to last year. And she's like,
Hmm.
"What the hell are you doing?" And but like weirdly, I feel like okay with it. You know,
Hmm.
it's like I told I'm giving one of my businesses away to a friend as well because it's just
Wow.
like it's like such a time suck for me, and it's like yeah, I'm losing money, but basically, I'm getting something for it, but I'm losing money on it, but at the same time, it's like I just have to. There's too much other stuff that I
Hmm.
want to get done, so I'm just like releasing it, and
Yes.
that's it.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then and it's always one of those things where once you release it, something else comes in that was kind of
yeah,
almost waiting for you to get that off your plate or off your desk, right?
it, yeah. I mean, for me, it's just going to be it'll be free time. It'll be
Right.
like
Yeah.
where I work 24/7, so it'll be nice to have a little bit of time as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's something we all should be looking for in forward
Yeah,
to in our schedule. It's like, the what would you really do with your free time? And I think that we're all
yeah,
moving towards an age where we have a little bit more time for the things we want to do.
hmm
And that's going to be crucial, honestly, to be able to nurture those things. So,
yep,
yeah. All right. Well, how about we get into the all signs reading? We'll do bonus messages at the end, like always, right?
sure.
And let's start with Aries. What do we need to know right now for Aries, Chris?
Aries, I think Aries could be worrying about money and they don't need to. So you got the Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. I think my camera's in reverse, so it's like showing the reverse
Oh
order.
no,
But no, is it
was
or
it?
is it showing Queen of Pentacles came
It's like
first?
yeah, it's showing
Okay,
Queen of Pentacles
perfect.
first. Yeah. Hmm.
Queen of Pentacles is resourcefulness. Nine of Swords is like around worries. And like I said at the beginning of this call, that changing your process so that you don't keep living the same thing. It's like when you think about it, they're clearly trying to get the robots to take over. So I think on a personal level, we need to make sure we're not being robots. We need to make sure we're not just doing things automatically. Nine of Swords is falling into those patterns where you just don't even think. You're just going through the motions every single day. There's no inspiration, excitement, none of that stuff.
Hmm.
And so, like, I think if Aries could return to that, there would probably be more opportunity. You're born very close to Pisces. So, Neptune and Pisces, I think if you're not inspired, and especially your 12th house, it's like the hidden inspiration for you that you have to follow here, Aries. But there could be a big opportunity if you do that.
Yeah, I'm seeing that for Aries too. I've got the release card here, the 10 of fire, which would be 10 of wands for tarot, and then of course the success card. And
Mm,
one of the big things that the Aries have had consistently for me in my readings over 2025 is being willing to let others help you, support you,
mm,
being willing to delegate, not just taking off and saying, I'm going to just get this done now and doing it on your own. And with this 10 of fire card, it's again that reminder that maybe you do have too much on your plate. Maybe it is okay to delegate. But what I'm seeing with this release card is a lot of Aries have been hurt in the past by trusting somebody, especially significant people in their life. Maybe it was a close friend that they went into a business with. Maybe it was a romantic partner. And there's still more healing that needs to be done around that. That's what this release card is showing me here. In order for you to be able to trust these people that you're bringing along with you, but it really is leading to this success. So what are the things, we were just talking about that with this retrograde energy slowing down, what are the things that you don't really have to do yourself? If you could trust somebody else to do it, who would it be? What would that look like? And maybe what are some safeguards you could put in place? But although I do feel like, Chris, and tell me if you agree with this, some of this energy about this one year in 2026 is going to be very much about avant-garde, just do it. Like we can't sit
mm.
here and worry, what if this happens, what if that happens, or we're going to miss those opportunities. So does that resonate with you? Because I hear that about the opportunities for Aries too.
It's my biggest thing that I talk about with people is about that, like, is Neptune and Pisces is that mental like dream that
Mm-hmm.
you live in your head, but you live it in your head so much you never actually bring it down to earth.
Right.
And so because you actually think you did it in your head,
Yeah.
I think that's what people need to realize. And I say to Aries all the time, it's funny that you said the thing about people in their life, because I've been talking to Aries about that forever. I think Aries thing is that they have to level up. They have to get to the next level,
Mm-hmm.
but the only way you can do that is with people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I remember years ago my mom had to beg me to hire my assistant. It's like, and then had to beg me to hire people to help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but it's like once I did it, once I released that control, things got so much easier. So, yeah, I think that's what it's all about for Aries, is getting to that next level, but you can only do it with other people's help.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. You literally said release that control with that release card.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like I don't see any Aries sitting on the sidelines per se, but I do see them, like you said, getting caught up in that worry that's holding them back from really, really going forward. So Aries, I feel like what you need to hear right now is just really focus on where you're going and bringing that support with you, not how that person in the back stole from you or hurt your feelings or, you know, did that, unforgivable thing, right?
Yeah, and I think they've been dealing with this since like 2016. The whole, it's like I think if Aries thinks back to 2016, that could have been like the first moment where someone did you dirty or someone didn't like follow through on something.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with their expectations too. It's like realizing, like, when you do hire people, you have to realize. I'm not saying Aries is going to hire people, but you have to realize, like, no one is going to do things the same way you do them, as well. It's like they're not going to care as much, and that's not a bad thing. It's just, how it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But then if it's really giving you that opportunity to succeed in the areas you want to, those things eventually just don't bother you that much, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I love that for the Aries. All right. What do the Tauruses need to know right now, Chris?
I feel like Taurus knows what they need to do, but they're not. You have the Moon, the King of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles here. The Moon is like the fears, needing to be emotionally vulnerable as well. Like this is part of the Fool's journey. He has to take the risk of, potentially getting hurt. Right? There's that. I almost just said lizard. Oh my God, the lobster right here, and the lobster has its like armor on, and lobsters can't move around very well on land, so they have to release their emotional armor to move forward. But King of Swords is like, you know what to do. Eight of Pentacles is doing it, right? Getting a result, just straightforward, diligent work. This came up, I just did Mercury retrograde readings for all the signs, and Taurus had the Eight of Pentacles, I'm pretty sure. I was saying, like, just focus on making one thing happen. I think maybe part of the challenge for Taurus is like too much of their own noise in their head. It's like those your old dreams, I think, could be getting in Taurus's way a little bit as well, where it's like they are doing things that they think they should be doing, which is different than what you actually want to be doing, Taurus. So, that's what I would be thinking about if I were Taurus.
That makes so much sense with what I was getting with the Taurus too. I have the Nine of Water, the Page of Water, and passions and interests. So very much resonating with what you were saying. I feel like the need to be emotionally vulnerable is going to be key for Tauruses, especially with anything right now you're feeling stuck in. But then I was also really resonating with what you said about, things, the way you used to do things. It's almost like you're like, I do this because I can. I do this because I'm good at it. I do this because it's worked for me in the past, but your heart isn't in it the way it needs to be to really, really propel you forward out of that stuck energy. And I do think that a lot of Tauruses are being tempted to kind of go back to an old way of doing things right now. In fact, I've seen that for all 12 signs, Chris. I don't know if you have this risk of nostalgia. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely Taurus, Leo. All the fixed signs get it for me the most, but it pretty much shows up for everyone, Yeah.
And so just think about that with anything that you're planning for the future, anything that feels like it's just not moving forward. It's more about, okay, are you thinking it has to look a certain way when really it could be so much better, and you just haven't allowed yourself to dream about it being better. And I always love, Chris, too, that you remind everybody about getting rid of friction in the things you're doing. Yeah. I'm a dent maker. I've learned a lot from you about content creation and being in the flow. And one of the things you've helped me with is recognizing the flow. Like sometimes, like if you're in the flow, it is okay to record like 10 shorts in one day because you're in the flow and you're feeling good. And so why not? That's not bad. That's not overdoing it, But then on the other hand, if you're getting behind the camera in like a grumpy mood or you're just really forcing it, maybe it's time to take a walk, and you're trying to like hold yourself to this standard that's going to come across in a way that won't really show how good you are at this. Because Taurus, you're so creative. And I just feel like the main message I'm getting is that there is probably someone in your life right now or something that is you're afraid to really share and be really vulnerable with. And maybe ask yourself, kind of like with Aries, like, wouldn't you rather just have that opportunity to be open and honest with something and then know the answer than sit there sitting on the fence lines is what it feels like. Is that resonating with you, Chris?
Yeah, I always say to Taurus that they have to escape the bullpen. It's like I think they're they're in a bullpen. That they have to. And it's like it could just be things that they've dealt with or whatever, and they have to escape it. And even the moon is like your domestic side and your wild side, the dog and the wolf, dog and coyote, whichever you prefer. And I think a little bit of that wild side energy, being playful, fun,
yes,
being willing to break things, that type of energy would be good for them.
Yeah, and it reminds me of what I've heard you talk about in relationship readings and things about, where you've got two friends and one is like romantically attracted to the other, but they're afraid to tell them because they don't want to ruin the friendship. And it's like, that's not even authentic anyways. And I mean, just get it out there, see what happens, and then and then you can start from there versus, and obviously this is not for everybody. Not everybody's looking for that kind of reveal or vulnerability, but I do think sometimes it's better out than in. I don't know. and then
absolutely.
You start from there. so yeah, I think that's, I feel that way about the very first videos I ever posted on this YouTube channel or stuff that I did with you when I did your challenge in January, that super fun challenge you had us all do for dent makers. It was like, oh, this is like peer review. People are going to see it. But once you hit post, it's kind of like the pressure's off. Now let's go from there. So I think Taurus is like, let yourself be vulnerable, with whatever this is for you. Yeah. Anything else you have to say for Tauruses? Or are you ready to move on?
That's all I got for Taurus. I'm ready.
All right. What do the Geminis need to know right now, Chris?
Gemini, you have good cards here, except for this middle one. But you have the Ten of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, and Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, I think Sag in Mercury and Sag right now, retrograde. It could be very lucky for you, even though it's retrograde. And we have this water trine, right? So there is a lot of luck for Gemini. Ten of Pentacles is like building and leaving a legacy. It's building something that you want to build in your life. The Eight of Cups is about walking away from, really, I think it's just about being a Gemini for Gemini, because it's, walking away from the familiar. And, Geminis, I think Uranus and Gemini going against the grain, being different, being rebellious or whatever would be really good for Gemini. That is how they are going to change their fortunes, I think. So could be a lot of abundance coming in for you here, Gemini. I don't even feel like that big of a deal on that Eight of Cups. It's like, I personally like the Eight of Cups because he's walking away from something he no longer wants in his life. It's like he's choosing not to settle. So, I think you choosing not to settle is a good idea.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm getting a little bit of a different. I read intuitively, not literally, but a little bit of a different pull on this one, Chris. So we'll see what resonates with each other, because I have the Five of Earth card here. I have the Transformation card, which is also Tower for tarot, and then we have the Lost card. However, what I'm really getting is it's more that you've chosen, Geminis, to not see things as a loss anymore. It feels like what your transformation is, you're flipping the script on a lot of the old wounds, on a lot of the old things that used to hold you back from really doing your creative thing. And a lot of it was around how others might view you. Maybe it's family members, maybe it's colleagues, maybe it's children or a spouse, where, you've really kind of hidden this side of yourself for a while, and now you're really choosing to go for it. And I have seen that with a lot of the readings for Geminis all year long, about finally being willing to be authentic with those around you and be okay with them not agreeing with you, not understanding where you're coming from, but understanding that too, that's what brings that security. And that's what I was seeing, like from the really good cards you were pulling, Chris. It's like, that's what actually brings the security, is the willingness, kind of like we said with Taurus, is really your neighbor sign, is like being willing to say, okay, that didn't work in the past, or these people might view me this way, but I can no longer hide my authentic self and the way I really feel about this, and be able to move forward. So almost like you're looking at you're spending a lot of time, and maybe it is this retrograde energy, this Mercury energy, looking at things in the past and flipping the script and saying, if I hadn't lost that job, I wouldn't have met this person who became my spouse. Or if I hadn't, tried that thing, I wouldn't have gotten that job opportunity. So I feel like a lot of the work that's going to help you move forward right now, Gemini, is that reminder that you don't want to be in that place anymore where you're worried about whether people think. You're in the place now where you're like, I'm doing this. This is what my heart wants. So does that resonate with you with these interesting different cards, right?
Yeah, and it's also like the Eight of Cups. Sometimes I think we need like a reason why. Where it's like that's what popped into my head when you were talking. It's like I was like, oh yeah, it's like they need a reason why they're doing something. But I almost feel like Gemini is discovering a reason why. Maybe you've been missing that type of inspiration in your life, and I feel like that could be coming in with this Eight of Cups.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And maybe even too, like the things that you thought you weren't going to like are turning out to be things you really like. I mean,
Yeah.
I think of that. I have that stuff happen with my kids sometimes where I'm like, oh man, this new activity, it's going to be so time consuming and it's going to change everything up. And then it ends up being the most fun part of my day. And I'm like, it's just something little like that where you're like flipping the script on what you didn't even know could be fun, could be something that you don't even mind the vulnerability there. So
yep.
Does that resonate with you?
It does.
All right. Good for Geminis. All right. Moving on to Cancers. What do the Cancers need to know right now?
Cancer, you have the Page of Cups, Knight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. So it could be love, for sure. You have Jupiter in your sign anyway. I always think Jupiter in your sign can definitely bring in love. This would be like a person rushing in. Like one of you might be stuck right now with the Ace of Swords, if you're dealing with that, for sure. But the Page of Cups is also like your dream. He has that fish in that cup that he has to grab onto. And the Knight of Swords says, like, don't rush. But what I've really been saying to Cancer all year is you get the Seven of Cups with me a lot. And Seven of Cups is, it's like we can cheat ourselves out of a dream with the Seven of Cups because you're looking at the good things and bad things that could happen. And you're saying to yourself, well, it's like, well, I'm not going to do it because this bad thing could happen. It's like, well, you don't actually know that. You actually don't know what is going to happen. And Eight of Swords, we have to realize there are like many ways to do anything with the Eight of Swords. That's the whole point. So I feel this is about you like kind of not making excuses for not accomplishing a dream or something.
Yeah, that really resonates. I have the life experience card, so another tower card here that's been coming up a lot lately. We have the Knight of Water, and we have this education card, learning and teaching. So yeah, I do feel like maybe there is something around a new interest, a new love, but also almost like out of necessity. So I feel like maybe there's been some big changes for Cancers recently, new information that's come in that's been a little life altering or a little, I guess, kind of shook up their vision of what things were going to look like on a day-to-day basis, but it's actually bringing this really big growth opportunity in, especially around learning. And that's something I've been getting for Cancers too. But really all 12 signs, I think we're going to see things kind of served up on a platter as far as where you're supposed to focus your energy and time learning now. And it's going to behoove you to go ahead and just immerse yourself in that information. And I know, Chris, that's something you've been saying a lot in your videos about finding something to learn or to do or something fun to kind of get through this energy. If you are feeling this urge to go research something or look it up and you're thinking, I have no idea why I want to look this up, please follow the urge. I feel like there's just big stuff coming in. So you're chuckling there. What's that bringing up for you, Chris?
Yeah, and I always say to Capricorn, with your opposite sign, Cancer, that it's like the universe is like this. It's got like its hand out and there's something on it and you just have to grab onto it. So even though it's your opposite sign, it absolutely could still be for you, Cancer. That I always say that to Capricorn. Right. So, there could be like opportunities right in front of you. Again, she is not seeing it. And she might also be making something emotional. She's standing in this tiny little pool of water. And so the Eight of Swords, sometimes I think with the water, it's like she's making a bigger deal out of her situation than it actually is. She might be overestimating or underestimating, what the potential of an opportunity. But again, she doesn't know until she actually does it. So, I feel like you should grab that opportunity there, Cancer.
Yeah, I agree. And I always like to tell people, when you can't make a decision, because I keep thinking about what you said with the Seven of Cups, Chris, and like talking yourself out of taking the chance. A lot of times you just don't have enough information, and just doing the research, listening to other people who have been through it, just trying to weigh, you are weighing your pros and cons, but in a more, educated manner where you're not just assuming some anecdote is going to be what happens to you. And that's where I think you'll get the security to go ahead and, take what's being offered in front of you. So I'm excited to see what the Cancers end up teaching all of us, because I think there's some big growth opportunities in knowledge for the Cancers.
Yeah, I think, and for Cancer, I've said it to them before, that it's like they have a diamond that's covered in mud. It's like I think for Cancer, it's kind of like hard to say, but there, might be opportunities where you look at it and you're like, I don't like that. Or it's like you have an initial judgment towards the opportunity, but it's like, if you look deeper, there's more to it, is what I would say to Cancer.
Yeah. So keep digging, Cancers, and do the research. You'll know which cup to choose. I love it. All right. Leos, what do the Leos need to know right now?
Leo, you have the Lovers, the Strength card, which is you, and the Three of Swords. So some of you could be healing your heart. I do wonder. I think I've said this to Leo recently as well. I wonder if a Leo is in a relationship right now. I do wonder if it's kind of like a healing relationship in some way. If it's if it's similar to something you've done in the past, or it's like maybe the love story is similar to a love story in the past. I don't think this is good or bad. I think it could be good. Really, it's like you're healing part of your heart through that story, whatever the story is. But the Lovers is about making a choice. I do think Leos are making like the choice of a lifetime. The way I see it is Leos are ending like a very long thing, very long cycle, very long, it's like maybe you've had the same job for like 25 years or something like that, and you're thinking about making a change. I see this as like very big picture, this right here. And I think it's talking about, Leos making that decision to, end that cycle. I think Leos are like very loyal sometimes, and this is where I think it can cause problems when they're like loyal to a job, like I said, that where it's like, you could go get another job that could pay you like 20 times more, but you're like, no, I've been working here for 40 years. I grew up with the owner's kids. I can't leave. And it's like, well, do you really need to be like screwing yourself out of something here, Leo? Just like I just said to Cancer or whatever. For you, it's different because, I think Leo has a chance to get something bigger here.
Yeah, that resonates with what I'm getting too. I have the 9 of Air for Leos. I have the Renewal card. And then I have Servitude. And so that was really resonating with what you were saying too.
Yeah, there you go.
Staying in the job and like loss of control, loss of power. And I do feel like what Leos are being asked to do is to definitely make the changes where they're not in that place anymore, where they're out of control, where they're having to do what everybody else wants. They're having to follow them out of loyalty, like you said, out of a need to please, out of a need to feel seen or loved. They follow along what somebody else is doing out of that obligation, and they're not really stepping back and doing the things that make them feel like they have the energy I think of like the things that make you re-energized, even though it's work. So like the what do they talk about in human design? The generators are like a self-charging battery, and when they respond and they do the thing that they're intended to do, they actually get more energy out of that. And that's what I'm seeing with Leos, is just leaving behind these old ways of doing things that left you drained, left you feeling unloved, wounded, or whatever. And now you're moving towards something where it's a more balanced thing. Because in the past, that's what I'm seeing with the Servitude card, is like in the past, it's always been about doing for others so that they might see you. And now it's like, no, I'm just going to do what makes me feel seen. And that's going to end up balancing out something. So yeah, even with the relationships that you said, this renewal, it may be that they're having like one last round with a similar type relationship. And it's going to be how they respond to that determines if the relationship continues. Does that resonate?
Yeah, totally. And I think that Leo's like, it just popped into my head again. I think I said this in our last reading together. I feel like Leo is like early to something, it's, especially if they're working on something, they might think like, oh, this isn't working. But no, actually, I think you're early. You're just early, So I think you need to keep going with whatever you've been doing.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think they're definitely entering that new phase. So yeah, just don't give up if it seems like there's a little hiccups here, a little bumps in the road, because I know we're all experiencing that with these current energies.
Yeah.
Okay, Virgos. What do the Virgos need to know right now?
Virgo, you have the Four of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Devil. I feel pretty good about this actually for Virgo. The Four of Cups is like a little bit of boredom. Sometimes thinking that the grass is greener, you're not getting what you want, but it's like you're looking at something with the Three of Wands. I actually, again, I feel pretty good about the Devil because it's almost like I see Virgo looking at an opportunity, but they're not like jumping right into it. They're like making sure that it's not toxic, that it's not going to become some sort of big like obligation is the word I'm looking for, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel like you're taking your time and you're just making sure that if you're like working on something new or starting something new, that it's going to be something you're going to want to do for a long time. Saturn in your opposite sign, I think is good. I think Saturn retrograde in Pisces is good for long-term projects. Like if you're going to build something right now, it should be something that takes a long time. I always use writing a book as an example because it takes forever. Mm-hmm. And, it's like, because that's going to pay off the most. But, mm-hmm. I also think the Devil, the feeling I get is like, you're not just doing things to do things, there's like more thought going on here. So I don't know. I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah. I'm getting the Awakening card. So I guess this is the Hangman card in Tarot. Six of Water. Nostalgia. We've been talking about that a lot. And the Explorer card, Traveler, Wanderer. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of that too for the Virgos. What I'm seeing a lot of for Virgos is in the past, they've had these awakenings. They've had these like looking at things from a different perspective, things that kind of flip their world upside down. I'm literally feeling that for the Virgos. And you did have those really powerful eclipses in your sign, Virgos. So kudos to you for being here. We love you. And I know you've been through the...
And more to come.
More to come. But this time you have a perspective, all right? You've been through it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And actually you are being asked to really try to take advantage of your world kind of being flipped upside down. That's what it feels like, because there's this opportunity to look back on things and fall in love with the things that maybe you took for granted and bring them back in, like things that like we talk about when you're a kid and you have like all the time in the world to just go around to the point that you're like bored, right? And then as you're adult, you're like, I wish I had time to be bored, but you're creating that space to get out there in a bigger way. With this Explorer card, I feel like some of you may be doing some spontaneous travel, or you need to be open to an invitation to join some friends or get out there in a bigger way and continue in this space of this Hanged Man or Awakening card. I feel like you're being asked to just stay there for a little while. I know I have a lot of Virgos in my life. You guys like to check off your to-do list. You like to get things done. You like to see progress. But this is actually your to-do list. Your to-do list is to just be still and ponder on the things that have been flipped upside down, and I think that you're going to have a opportunity to really lead others going forward. And it's going to be a lot about, because you're taking the time now to work through nostalgia, to work through things from the past and say, yeah, that was good, but it's not like that anymore. So now how am I going to make what I have in front of me good for me going forward? Whether it's a past relationship and you miss that dynamic, or whether it's just a very big shift in your world where maybe you changed jobs or you moved and there's an opportunity here to just sit with this change. I guess that's what it is. It's a hall pass to just be still, Virgos. So anything else coming up for you with that?
Yeah, it reminds me of my buddy Kyle Cease, who wrote I Hope I Screw This Up, the book. And in that book he talks about, he was a comedian, and I don't remember the story exactly, but basically he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. We were just talking about generator energy. It reminds me a lot of generator energy. Mm-hmm. And so he just stopped and he decided he wanted to be a speaker, and so he started asking colleges if they would like hire him to speak, and he like filled up his calendar, and wow. It became very, but he had to like cut off that old thing and completely to do the new thing. Yes. And I do think Virgos are getting to that point again, where it's like, even if you have done that before, where you like stop doing something, and to do something else, you're probably going to do that again.
Yeah, exactly. And I realized I was almost contradicting myself a little bit by saying stay still, but also you have the travel card. But I think I do feel like maybe that's what you need to do, is get out of your environment, go do, go do a little traveling, just get a new perspective on things, and then it'll make it easier for you to really let go of that thing from the past. Because I agree with you, Chris. I feel like it's like you have to tell the universe, I'm 100% done with that. I'm not, you know, this is not what I want. So let's go on to the next thing. And I think that's really a good reminder for everybody. It's like you kind of have like one foot in the door. It's like, I see people do this with relationships. Like they'll leave the door open to an ex. Like they think it's just like a crack open. They're like, oh, it's just, you know, I just talked to him, you know, late at night when we're both feeling lonely. Yeah, that's energetically, that door is wide open and nobody else is coming through that door. It's completely blocked by the ex, you know? So I feel that way for sure. Yeah. All right, Virgos. I love that. So let's move on to the Libras. What do you say the Libras need to know right now?
Yeah, Libras, you have the Six of Wands, Seven of Cups, and Ace of Wands. So really good. Six of Wands is like a victory or success. Seven of Cups, like a lot of options for you. The retrograde is retrograding into their second. So, right, it's going to make it back to Scorpio. So, you know, I guess the energy coming up is going to be pretty good. And, you know, your head could be spinning with ideas. I mean, being an air sign, Uranus and Gemini, you know, even though it's going to be in Taurus soon, you know, I would still say that energy is going to bring you a lot of good ideas, maybe even sudden ideas. We have to capture Ace of Wands. I love Ace of Wands, my favorite card in the deck, but it's like a firework going off in your head. It's like it goes off and then it goes away. You know, firework doesn't last forever. And so I think, you know, capturing your ideas somewhere, piece of paper, whatever. I have a billion pieces of paper around me all over the place where I write stuff down. I have ADHD, so I lose the pieces of paper. But, you know, maybe if you're not like me, you will hold on to those pieces of paper and, you know, build your ideas or use them or something.
Yeah. And I mean, the world's been waiting for Libras to really be able to get out there in a bigger way with sharing their ideas. I have King of Earth here. I have Two of Water. And then I have abandonment. And I do feel like a lot of the Libras have dealt with abandonment from partners, from colleagues, from things in their past, and also maybe even abandoning themselves at times when they were being called to action on something that they felt like they could do. Maybe I'm even feeling with this King of Earth energy, it's like, well, this is the practical route. Like this pays the bills. This does the thing. This keeps everybody happy. But it was almost kind of abandoning themselves to please others. And that's one of the energies I'm getting for a lot of Libras. Potentially, maybe you've just had to put things on hold that you've wanted to do, maybe to take care of a loved one or to get through something that you're dealing with. But you're going to see that this is actually an opportunity for you to shine in ways that you've never considered shining before. So I feel like it's almost like you have to ask yourself, where are the times that I abandon what I want? Is it in a conversation with, you know, a friend when I want to eat healthy and they're like, let's go get queso and I just want to please? Or is it with the boss coming to you and saying, you know, I'm going to need you to take on this extra thing and you've been trying to slow down? And I don't know, if you're retired, apply it to your daily schedule. Maybe people are stopping by and not respecting your free time. I see that. I have a lot of clients that are retired and their big thing that they'll like retire, they'll start doing a lot of their spiritual work like on a deeper way, and they're like, I don't have time to do anything. I'm always being asked to join this and volunteer for that, and people are stopping by and they're assuming that you're retired. You know, that means that their time is your time. And so I feel like there's something around where you abandon yourself to please others, Libras. And so ask yourself that. That's kind of what I feel like you need to know now, where you can bring in more security around your resources by saying no if it makes you feel like you're abandoning what you want. Does that resonate, Chris?
Yeah, I say to Libra all the time, no self-sacrifice. I mean, I think that's been the theme for Libra since like 2022, somewhere around there. And it comes up all the time. So yeah, I think that's a big thing for Libra.
Yeah. And then by doing that, though, you're also setting a great example to those around us, too, you know, Libra. I mean, I think that's the other thing, too. You are actually, it's not selfish to do that because you're setting an example. Yeah, I think that's great.
Exactly.
All right. And then Scorpios, we're in your birthday season still. Happy birthday, Scorpios.
Yes. Happy birthday, Scorpios. Scorpio, you have the Five of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Nine of Wands. I really do think we're in a time for Scorpio where it's like where the rubber meets the road. It's like you are having the opportunity to change your situation. Five of Pentacles is like feeling left out in the cold, but Five of Pentacles says don't. I always say Five of Pentacles says do not call attention to your weaknesses. So I think the Five of Pentacles gets a bad rap in the tarot. Like people look at it as a card of poverty or whatever, but it's like, no. It says don't do that.
Right.
And so you have a choice with the Five of Pentacles. Right. The Emperor is like bossing up and being a boss. And he's also, I think right now we are in this time where we are getting opportunities. We might not realize it. He has his armor on here. And so he is ready for an opportunity whenever it presents itself. And Scorpio, I don't know how many readings I've done for you that say that you're like getting another opportunity to do something again. Like out of all the signs, Scorpio is like every single retrograde. It's like, hey, remember that thing you tried before that didn't work out? Try it again. And so, I think it's typical Scorpio right here.
Yeah. That makes sense. I have the Seven of Water card here, and I know you said you get that for Cancers a lot, a fellow water sign here. I have the Three of Earth card here, and I have the relationship repeat card here. And I know. I was just thinking that too, and I'm like, here we are at Mercury retrograde.
Here we go.
Here we go. But, I think it's also a fear of repeating that's coming up for Scorpios right now. Again, with the Seven of Water card, like you said, I know you like to also say this is a card of being spoiled for choice. That always helps me. It's a great reminder for me when I see this card, how you put that. And then also not, like you said, not being willing to do something because you're sitting there weighing all your options to the point that you miss out. Because I do think a lot of Scorpios are trying to really shift the way they interact with others. And they are really trying to shift the way that they are seen. But also it's a little bit in the way that you want to create with others that is needing the shift. It's a little bit more like, I feel like Scorpios have to be a little bit more willing to not be liked in order to be able to do the thing they want to do. I mean, I know this, like everybody wants to be liked, but because I think Scorpios tend to get a bad rap about being really passionate about what they want, or being very, there's always the extremes that you hear. That's not really the energy that is really going on here for the Scorpios, but you're having to kind of combat that a little bit. And you're having to just say, they're going to think what they're going to want to think, especially when it comes to relationships. And if you have people saying to you, well, you always do this and you always say that, and they're trying to talk you out of something or trying to make something you want to do less important, that's your sign to walk away and not repeat that pattern there. But there is an opportunity for you to have more collaborations with the kind of people who see you for how powerful you are, how intuitive you are. And like I've been saying for Scorpios all 2025 is you are having to be patient with people around you so that they can get on board with your ideas. That's not something that's always easy for people to do. When you walk in and you find the solution immediately, just because it's right and it's provable doesn't mean everybody else in the room is emotionally on board with that. And so that's where the patience comes in. And I think sometimes it can make you feel like you are repeating a pattern. But I think as long as you focus on surrounding yourself with people who do see you for the talent you have and how intuitive you are, then you're going to break free of this relationship repeat here. Anything else coming up for you with that, Chris?
Yeah, I think like Scorpio has like a little bit of an escape hatch right now where it's like, where they, it's like if you have a job in like a side hustle, and you want to escape the job or whatever it is, it's like, I think it's about, escaping the sinking submarine or whatever you're on right now, the sinking boat, you have to like go and jump off of it. And so that's what I always think of for Scorpio.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what people are going to think of you doing that too is what I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, it was that I think Gemini's had something similar around just people's judgment of your choices, but they're your authentic choices. So you've got to go. Yeah, I love that. All right. What do you have for Sagittarius and what they need to know right now?
Sag, you have the Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups in the world. Pretty good. Two of Pentacles, being very busy, which I think you could be in the first place. Queen of Cups is like following your heart, and the world would be towards an accomplishment. So I do feel, I think for Sagittarius, it's like a funnel, like the energy. You've been spread out for a long time doing a bunch of stuff, and it's like now it's time to become specific about what you're going to do in your life. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy other things, but I do think that, like I always make the joke, every Sag I know has about like 20 side hustles. So, it's like maybe it's time to pick one or, you know, pick something. I think it's going to be hard for Sag to like enjoy a career. Like, you know, don't take that the wrong way, Sagittarius. It's like I say, if you have a career that you really enjoy, of course you're going to enjoy it. But I just feel this thing for Sag where it's like maybe even over the last couple of years, like if you got laid off, for example, then get another career, it's like you didn't enjoy it, you're being pushed to something else. And you know, I think that's what Sag needs to do. Is like I always say, Sag is turning into a Sag. You're like embracing that Sagittarius energy more, which is being an explorer, being you know, playful, optimistic, you know, doing things that you actually enjoy. And I feel like you're returning to that.
That makes a lot of sense, especially with Saturn and Neptune returning to Aries, where they'll be trining you, Sagittarius. I mean, that's going to really help you if you start thinking about the things now that you don't enjoy and start focusing on the things you do. We have the Ace of Earth card for you. We have the Queen of Air card. And then we have the Shaman card, healing energy and all that. And yeah, I do feel like, you know, Sagittarius do have that ability to kind of bring in that shamanic energy to things that they do. That's why you're the life of the party, why you can transform a room when you walk into it, why you can transform a project with your ideas. And it is really about getting started with just embracing that energy. So that makes a lot of sense to me with what you were saying, Chris, about Sages being Sages. It's like really embracing that and the beauty of that energy, and, you know, really trusting your natural gifts and talents to take you where you want to go. And with this Ace of Earth card too, I feel like you said, they've got all these different things they're doing, but I don't think that they've allowed themselves to fully invest their heart in something yet, out of obligation, out of all the things they're doing. And this Queen of Air card is also, what I'm seeing here is being there for others and really, you know, yes, you have a command of your communication here, but are you using it to further the things that you want to do, or are you using it in the way that everybody expects you to do it, the old way? So I agree with you. I think there's a lot of opportunity for Sages. Essentially, what you need to know right now is to be thinking about the things that make you so amazing, the things we need you for, and embracing that in a bigger way, maybe communicating in a bigger way, maybe doing things that just seem so out there, you know, on a day-to-day basis, but it's something that everybody's craving, is your fiery energy and the passion you bring to things. Is that resonating with you?
Yeah, and I always tell Sag too, like, I think I said it to Gemini, no settling. And, you know, I think that's like a big thing for Sagittarius right now. Like I said, it's like, I just see it for Sag how in the past, it's like maybe you had a job you didn't like, and then you thought like, oh, I'll get another one. You get another one, you don't like it exactly. And, you know, you think to yourself like, oh, well, I guess I'm just, I guess this is how it is. It's like you think that the new thing that you go to is, you know, maybe you start to think like, oh, well, maybe I have to settle. And, you know, I feel the reading is saying no.
Yes, that's a really good reminder, really, for all 12 signs about
for everybody.
Where we can just get these little kind of tests, like, are you sure this is what you want? And you're like, and then that's your opportunity to say no. And what sign was it that we were talking about that with? Was it Virgos or Leos, where we were like, we're not? Now I'm forgetting now, but there was one of the signs was saying like you have to absolutely say no to that. It might have been Virgos, where
it might have been,
in order to create the space for the new. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think about that. Like I used to have a small business consulting practice because I have my degree in accounting. And when I closed down that business to go full-time into this work, I still had the stragglers. Like, could you just do my return one more time this year? Could you just handle it? And it's like, I had to be like, absolutely not. I am not doing that anymore. So yeah, I feel ya. All right. That's Sag. What do the Capricorns need to know right now, Chris?
Capricorn, you have the Three of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, and the Six of Cups. So time for Capricorn to show off, I think. I think it's been time for Capricorn to show their work, put themselves out into the world and stop holding themselves back, for sure. So Eight of Swords, you know, again, holding yourself back or only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. I would say, like, what would it look like if it could be fun here, Capricorn? Sorry, I almost just called you Sag. And, you know, the Six of Cups wants us to have fun. Just like Taurus, I think Capricorn and Virgo, I think the same thing for whatever reason. I think it maybe Uranus and Taurus is the the need to be willing to break things, not like in a bad way, but just, not trying to be perfect. Sometimes I think the Six of Cups is too delicate. Like it's a card of holding something like delicately, trying to be too, perfect, not being willing to make a mistake, not being willing to look like a fool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. And so like the more of that's how you're going to build your confidence, is what I feel like it is for Capricorn. It's like it's almost like you have to take the risk of looking like a fool. Like we were talking about telling your friend that you're into them at the beginning of this reading, like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in some ways you're going to be like, oh, I'm not dead. Even if they say, no, you're ugly, they're going to be like, you will also probably be like, I'm alive. I'm still alive. It didn't kill me. And so what else can I do? And I think Capricorn needs those what else can I do moments, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that really resonates. I have the Justice card here, fairness, the law, Eight of Earth, right? Skilled work, rewarded, definitely Capricorns. And then I have this longing for love and loneliness card here, which just really, I was feeling what you're saying. It's like, okay, I got rejected. That hurt. But I'm still breathing. I can still breathe. So now what? Now what? And I feel like maybe it's the now what. It's you've already gone through the pain. You've kind of already gone through the rejection or the fear or the changes, and now it's really a choice in what's best for you, Capricorns here, and I guess I am feeling for some of you this is actually a relationship, but for some of you it's in work, it's in things where you weren't being recognized for your skilled work, you weren't being given the promotions or the raises you deserved. If you're retired, this could just be where maybe you're in a group like your church or some other type of community, and you're not people are taking credit for the work you're doing, they're not valuing everything you're doing behind the scenes. And I do feel like with this longing for love card too, that is about making things more fun. It's not just about like literally longing for love. It's about longing to love what you do. And how do you make yourself love something that you feel like you're not being recognized for, or you don't feel like it's really something you want to do? You got to ask yourself the hard questions. Is this really necessary? But how could I make it fun? And my grandfather would always talk about working harder at the things you like least when it came to like a topic in school. And, honestly, it would work for me if I did get really focused on something I didn't particularly enjoy. A lot of times just the challenge of conquering it would make it more fun for me. Now, that's not going to work with any topic, obviously. You don't want to just be like grinding and grinding and grinding at something that you don't like doing, but are there ways that you can make it more fun is what I'm seeing here. And I guess what I'm feeling for the Capricorns the most is it's just standing up for yourself, getting the credit. There's something I feel like you've got to own the credit, even if it's internally, like giving yourself credit. But I do think there's a lot of people around you that take your skills for granted. And by stepping into your power and owning that's what I feel like this card is. And I want your interpretation on this. I know that's not literal, but it's like you're owning your authority now, Capricorns, like saying, I am good at this, or I am the best at this, or I am the one to call for this, is what I feel like Capricorns need to do. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, because I think for Capricorn, it's like I think Capricorn is going to keep having ideas that other people do. Like if they don't do it, it's like you're going to come up with an idea, then you're going to see someone in the world who's doing your idea basically. And, I think it's almost like the universe being like, are you actually going to like, catch on here and realize that, your ideas are good and that's why other people do them and you don't. And so, yeah, I totally feel that. I feel love for Capricorn and, as well, out of all the signs, I think Capricorn has had love the most with me this year. And, I think the problem is language. It's, it's like with the Eight of Swords, if you have a certain love language or whatever you want to call it, it's like the way I'm seeing it is it's like just different. It's like you might think someone doesn't like you, but they do.
Right.
So I think Capricorn needs to like pay attention to that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And I definitely see that with the Eight of Earth card too. Just, like you said, you're good at it. So why not be the one to do it? Be the first. So yeah, I really like that.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to Aquarius. What do the Aquas need to know right now, Chris?
Aquarius, you have the moon, if I can get it, the two of wands and the star. So really good. You showing up as a star card, puts you in a position of power and strength. The moon, two wands is progress. Moon is normally confusion, not seeing things clearly, needing to take a risk, needing to walk through darkness. But with the two wands and the star, it's like you have a North Star to follow. The star isn't having a North Star to follow. It is like picking that guiding light that you work towards here, Aquarius. I do think it's going to probably pull you away from something like a source of comfort. Especially if you're behind the scenes, or if you're doing things with other people. You always get the Three of Pentacles with me, and I'm always saying, like, I think Aquarius has to be the one calling the shots. Like Three of Pentacles, that guy he's standing up, and he's the one that's getting the credit and the support from the other two people. And those are the situations I think Aquarius needs to put themselves in.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have the Queen of Fire card here, which I've gotten a lot for the Aquas lately. The Empress card here. And I also have Archangel Raguel, Justice, Discipline, and Harmony. Basically, what I'm seeing, one of the things that I'm seeing for Aquas right now is also a need to be organized with their creativity and a need to be disciplined about their approach. In fact, what it really is it's like, I know you've got the idea. I know you've got the magic wand in your hand, but if you can just slow down and get your system set up, get your processes set up, get everything lined up, where once you tap that magic wand and say go, everything's just funneling. I think that's what I'm seeing for the Aquas. In other words, I guess setting yourself up to be scalable, setting yourself up for things to be automated. Okay, if you're retired, you're like, why do I need that? Well, maybe you're getting all your bills put onto auto pay and setting up a system with that, so you have more time to travel or go hang out with your friends. There's something around being very careful to automate the things you can for the things you love. And so I think that's going to create more time for you. It's going to help you remain disciplined with the things that are important to you, like your health or your spiritual practice or being with your family. And so, yeah, I guess what I'm seeing is this what you need to know right now, Aquas, is that you might find yourself really scattered when you really start focusing on, your passions, if you don't take the time now to get organized. I know that sounds kind of like homework, I guess, but is that resonating with you? Because it just feels like they have to have a system in place,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, I look at it globally. It's like we have AI right now. AI came out, like, it became popular right at the beginning of Pluto and Aquarius. So it's like you being an Aquarius, regardless of how you feel about it. Like, trust me, I don't like it either. But at the same time, I use it every single day, because if we don't, we're just screwing ourselves. And, so I would say, like, there are tons of tools that you can use to automate things, make things easier. You're just being an Aquarius right here.
Exactly.
just like Sagittarius, right?
Yeah. And I do get the sense that it will ultimately protect your creative projects. To do that. So it feels like it's slowing you down, and it's like, I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to learn that. I don't want to have to spend the money on that tool. But in the end, you're going to be glad you did. So, yeah, I love that. All right, Pisces. What do the Pisces need to know?
You have the Ace of Wands, Four of Cups, and the Chariot. This is like start-stop energy, Pisces, which I definitely feel for Pisces. So, it's like you start something, you get to the Four of Cups, oh, that didn't work out before, and stop. But Chariot is like charging right through something, charging through obstacles. He totally ignores obstacles. He doesn't even try to necessarily get out of the way or anything. If something is crossing his path, he's going to charge right through it. So I think that's the attitude that Pisces needs to have right now. And it's like we were talking about momentum at the beginning of this reading. It's like the Wheel of Fortune. Is how I kind of am seeing this in my head. It's like the Wheel of Fortune starts very slow, or like a train. Maybe that's a better way to put it. It's like the train really has to start chugging along. It has to really get those wheels turning before it can take off. But if you keep starting things and stopping, you're never really getting that train moving. But once you get it moving, it's unstoppable. And so that's what I feel for Pisces here. It's like you have the ideas, you have the inspiration right here, especially with Neptune and Pisces. But it's about the follow through is what I feel for that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with what I'm getting too. I have the 10 of fire. So, of course,
Mm-hmm.
too much going on, being
Yep.
overburdened. I have the 8 of earth card here, which is like you said, like you've got the ideas, you've got the knowledge, you've got the skills. And then I've got Archangel Michael, strength, courage, and letting go. So, what I feel like that is just validating what you just said about really having the courage to step into your power, step into your knowledge, take it to the next level, and being willing to let go of the things that it's almost like I see some Pisces having this feeling. This overwork is also a little bit of security for them. And I forget which card it is that you talk about the story with the dog that sits on the nail. What card do you always talk about that with? Is it
Why am I
Nine of
not
Swords?
thinking of it off the top of my head? It's yeah, Nine of Swords.
It
Yeah,
is
because
Nine
he's
of
staying
Swords.
in the cycle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you talk about how like the dog doesn't move. He cries sitting on the nail, but he doesn't move because it's not painful enough.
Enough, right?
Right?
Exactly.
Well, not that it's a different energy with this, but it is almost like there's a little bit of security in the same old grind and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So really, it's about being more focused on the things that you enjoy learning about and spending more time doing that, and then having the courage to let go of the things that are overburdening you, even if there's some level of security there that you feel like, well, it's just a little extra income, or it's just a little more support from my family, or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, but honestly, it is kind of holding you back from going to the next level with this 8 of earth card here, where you do already have this knowledge, you do already have this passion and this interest. And so it's really just about saying, I'm going to take that risk. I'm going to take that leap of faith, and I'm going to go for the thing that's going to help me feel free of all this energy. And I know for Pisces, most of the year, a lot of it was about getting out there more and doing things with people that you wouldn't normally do things with. It's a little bit, that's a little bit what I'm feeling with that card too. It's not necessarily that you have an issue with doing things with those people. It just never occurred to you until now, when you started really focusing on something new. You're like, oh, I could go be part of this thing over there, or I could start hanging out with this group and learning about this. And all of a sudden it's like, why was I allowing all of this to hold me back from doing it? Because really the sky's the limit with the stuff I could do that I enjoy. Does that resonate?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that also, the Chariot's about setting yourself apart, but it's like, I do think Pisces, I do this as a Pisces, where it's like, yeah, I make excuses to not go out, or I'll be like, oh, I have to take care of this thing that I really probably don't need to take care of or don't need to do. And, it's like, what are you avoiding by doing that is what I think it is for Pisces. So yeah, no avoidance, Pisces.
Yeah, well, and that goes for all 12 signs, honestly. Like, I think
true.
We can all, especially with Neptune and Saturn back in Pisces right now, it's like,
yeah.
There is
We can
that,
all do it.
there is that little like temptation with Neptune there to be like, I don't really need to do that right now, or I need to go do this instead of that. But yeah, so
Right.
I feel for you. Well, let's jump into our bonus messages here. But first, I just want to remind everybody to please make sure you are checking out Chris's channel, chrisreck.com, and Minnow Pond Tarot. Of course, I know so many of you are here from there. We love you. And let's get you over that 1 million mark there and keep going, because you're right there. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button for Minnow Pond Tarot as well. It's always so much fun. And as we were talking about with the numerology and even the topics with AI, I just want to remind you about my free workshop style webinar. It's going to be on Zoom. The link's below, totally free, but it won't be on YouTube. So if you do want to join it live or watch the replay, sign up below for free. And we're going to be talking about the numerology going into next year. And it does involve, I'll just give you a little sneak peek spoiler alert. A lot of the themes around a 9 and a 1 year involve technology like AI. So that was the fun, some of the patterns I was seeing. I'm going to go over that all the way back to 1970, 1971, those years. And I may go further if I have time. So definitely join me for that on Thursday, 11 a.m. Central on the Zoom webinar, link below. And of course, you can watch the replay as long as you signed up. But Chris, this is so much fun doing this with you. Let's check in with the bonus messages and see what we've got for everybody as far as what they need to know right now.
Yeah, we have the King of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Temperance card. So King of Cups is about your deep emotions. This is going to continue, I think, till like 2028, 2033, somewhere around there, the end of Uranus and Gemini. Although I think 2028 is kind of like the bottom of it. whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of reasons to be emotional, but I feel we have to not drown in our emotions, and worrying just isn't going to do anything. So I would be careful of that. But yeah, we have an opportunity to expand. I keep telling people, I've been saying it for years, that I think we're experiencing empty space that we have to fill up with better ideas. So 3 of Wands, I would do that. Temperance is Sag. We have Mercury retrograde in Sag right now. So temperance is alchemy. It's like you can turn your situation around. I think we are in a time where we have to believe that we can change things. So that's what I would focus on.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that resonates. You were talking about a lot of emotional times. We had the Queen of Water card here. And, I do think that this is where we're going to have that opportunity to look at things differently. I have the Ego card, and then I have the 7 of Air. And what I'm feeling, like you said, collectively, like, just taking a different approach to things, but also trying to, I don't know, find ways to make the things that aren't as enjoyable a little more enjoyable, and in every way, like, whether it's, cleaning out your trash cans, or it's doing your taxes, or it's going to that event that, you signed up for, you promised your friend you'd be there. What are the things that you can do? I feel like that's everything. Every little thing throughout your day is an opportunity to be strategic. I know you call this a card of strategy, and I love that, Chris, the 7 of Air, because I do feel there's so many readers talk about it, lying, cheating, and stealing. And I know sometimes that can be the case, but it's also that idea that this is an opportunity to protect where you're going, do it more strategically so that you can avoid any issues going forward. So if you catch yourself in conversations where people are really getting caught up in their ego, they're really getting caught up in the what ifs and the worries, this is going to be where you can strategize. How do you get yourself out of that conversation, or how do you shift the conversation so that it doesn't keep going down that path? Have you ever been in those conversations, Chris, where you're like, how do I get out of this conversation, or how do I change the topic?
Every day. All the time.
And it's like, I don't want to be dismissive. I don't want to cut this person off, but I really want to change the topic right now. Well, this is where you're going to be asked to step into that Queen of Water card. Have compassion for what they're going through, but have a few, maybe lines or things that you can do to change the topic, or a few techniques, especially, we were talking about this for Pisces, but everybody, we're going into the holiday season here. There's going to be a lot going on at this time, and you're going to be around people you might not always want to have conversations with. Maybe go on YouTube and look up some ways to politely end a conversation, or look up some strategies for changing the topic, or they're kind of in your back pocket, because I think you're going to be the one that everybody's looking to for emotional stability if you do that, especially when things are getting really, caught up in their egos. And I'm having like an image of people arguing around the dinner table at the holidays, right? So it's like you can be the one to stabilize that. You can be the one to set the example, and just have some things in your back pocket to help you kind of shift the energy. Does that resonate with you, Chris?
Yeah, and I think you said something else about taxes, and I've been saying to people, not taxes, but maybe doing them. Doing them. I think the one thing that could slow people down next year is those little things, you don't want to do that you put off. So I've been saying that a lot. That I think people, like, even if you don't want to do something, you will feel so much better after if you just get it done. So I would take care of all those little annoying taxes, what paperwork. Whatever it is you have to do, Yeah,
exactly. And it's never too early to start. You can start getting organized now, even though you can't file till next year. And we're just using that as an example. But with this slow energy that we have right now, and really through the end of the year, things are going to pick up in December. And we'll talk about that, I'm sure, next month. But it's definitely a chance to look things over and see, like, how could I make this easier? Like that message we got for Aquarius is really for everybody. This is a time of automating the things we can and finding ways to have more time for the things we love because of that automation. So yeah, I think that's going to be really helpful for all of us. Well, this is so much fun. Thank you for being here as always, Chris.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's always a blast. The time flies by.
Always. It does so fast.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, you guys, what plans do you have coming up? What other topics do you want to do? We read every single one of your comments, and we thank you for being here. Thank you for liking and sharing the video. I always forget to say that too, Chris. I even say that more lately. But we love doing these together. We love hearing where you're all tuning in from. So thanks for being here. Definitely go hit subscribe on Menopon Tarot, and we'll be back again next month, right, Chris?
Yes, we will.
All right. Well, thanks again for
All right.
being here, and we'll see you guys next
Thank
time.
you.
Bye.
Bye.